r/relationships videos. My 29F boyfriend, 25 meters, admitted that he forced himself on a woman several years ago. I'm going to preface this post with a disclaimer: it contains rape. If you find it distressing to read about this kind of topic, I urge you to stop reading now. I have been with my boyfriend, Jason, for a year now. Jason is the first boyfriend I've had who puts real effort into truly listening to and understanding me. He can listen quietly as I describe a list of events from start to finish, while he only backchannels and then in the end expresses nothing but sympathy or helpful commentary. When I am facing a tough decision, he asks helpful questions which help guide me in the right direction. When I'm in trouble, without a second of thought, he is the first person I call. He is a dream come true. My parents love him. My sisters love him. My friends love him. The only person who ever disliked him was a male friend of mine, completely platonic, who said he gave him the creeps. I have since fallen out with this male friend for tangentially related reasons. Also, he was kind of a gigantic dickhead, so I don't think he had any sixth sense. He just never had a nice thing to say about anyone but himself. Anyway, 2 nights ago, Jason and I were discussing our first real crushes. It was an innocent enough topic as, being completely devoted to each other, we have grown well past any jealousy issues in our relationship. I went first, talking about a boy I knew in college who ultimately broke my heart. When it was Jason's turn, I realized it wasn't a silly rom-com like mine. It was a fucking horror story. He called it a dumb misunderstanding. He described stealing a pair of her underwear. He called it a drunken mistake. He described pushing up against her and touching her butt without her consent at a party. He called it one stupid night. She was completely drunk in her bed. He climbed in. He took off her clothes. She was half asleep. He inserted himself inside of her. The way he tells it, it wasn't even sex. It was one person acting on a victim. His retelling of the events ends with her crying and kicking him out, never to talk again. I know he truly regrets it because by the end of his story he was full-on sobbing. He didn't deny a thing and said that yes, he had raped her, which led to him wanting to improve himself and learn how to respect women. He saw my reaction and asked if I thought he was a monster. I told him I needed space and left. I didn't even pack anything. My sister picked me up and drove me to Rite Aid where I bought toiletries. My life has been torn apart because no matter how much I think it over, I have no desire to talk to him. Hearing his voice would probably give me a panic attack. In a true Jason fashion, he has given me all the space I need, not contacting me once. I've never been in a situation like this. The person I would normally turn to when my life was on the ropes just admitted he did something which, if convicted, would get him put in prison for several years. I can't talk to my sisters or family because if I do that they'll probably never let me within a mile of him again. Sorry, I think I'm just rambling now. I'm desperate for any ideas on how to proceed or even if my relationship can proceed at this point. Update: the whole situation still feels surreal. I have gone from being angry at him to being angry at myself. I have written long texts to him and then deleted them completely. I have gone through stages of denial where I thought that Jason, being such a good guy, may not have actually done anything wrong. Maybe a woman gaslighted him into feeling that he had committed a crime when she consented at the time. Then I realized that everyone who commented on my last post hit the nail squarely on the head. He didn't go to the police to turn himself in for what he did. If he truly felt remorse, that is what he would have done. His charm and natural understanding of women's problems were complete ruses. Many people with sociopathic tendencies are great with people. Most of all, he gets to cry and move on with his life. He gets to love another woman again. His victim? I can't even fathom what she's going through. I finally called him 2 nights ago. He wanted to talk about how we could mend our relationship, but after 2 weeks of not hearing his voice and being scared of how I may run back to him, it hit me like a truck. I don't love him anymore. I told him that I wanted him to vacate his apartment for 3 hours while I gathered my belongings. He said he would do so. I ended the call by telling him that if he felt any remorse, he would go to the police and accept all charges for what he did, not contest them in court, and take his punishment. He started talking about how that wouldn't bring justice to his victim. Then he said that he loved me. Twisted fuck. I showed up the next morning at the decided time with my sister. He was nowhere to be seen. I'm confident he won't contact me again. Thank you all so much for helping me through this. I'm going to find a therapist as soon as possible. TLDR, my rapist boyfriend won't turn himself in, and I broke up with him. I safely gathered my belongings and now I'm living with my sister. Dot. Now for the top comments. I'm a victim of sexual assault and my rapist got prison time but is getting out soon. I'm not oblivious to the fact he may go on to have a normal relationship one day. It's unfortunate because I'm stuck with PTSD for the rest of my life, while he may be able to get out and have everything go back to normal. Some things for you to consider. Is it still in the statute of limitations? Could she one day report him? Would you be willing to stay by his side? Has he been in therapy since? Raping a woman is one of the worst things you can do to her. Has he actually tried to better himself so it won't happen again? He admitted to you he raped someone while they were in one of the most vulnerable states. Can you live with that? He said it was at a party. How many other people at that party know what happened? How do you feel knowing other people know what he did? If you ran into the girl one day, how would you feel knowing you're dating them? Would the argument "has been good to me" still apply? I'm not saying people don't change. I've forgiven my rapist, but it's something I will carry around with me for the rest of my life. This is much bigger than Reddit's pay grade, but I hope it helps you think a little bit more about everything. Edit. Thank you all for the awards. I posted this on my throwaway account and wasn't expecting the response I've gotten. I'm really blown away. Dot. Now for the top comments. You gave him a consequence. You are an honorable person. Thank you. The only thing that makes me sick is he probably learned a twisted lesson from this. In his next relationship, he'll hide it. I had a very close friend admit he raped his ex-girlfriend many times. I knew them when they were together. We all hung out plenty. We drifted after that with some contact and we both moved. The ex posted about it years later and detailed that having no one believe her was terrible. I reached out. She thanked me for helping her feel less isolated. He moved to another country. The idea of him abusing others still haunts me. I was in the same situation. I was at a party at my crush's house with about 8 people. Everyone got super drunk except me and one girl who left early. I was pretty drunk but stopped drinking because everyone was too drunk. They were inexperienced with alcohol and drank way too much too quick. One guy fell, hit a metal frame, a huge gash on his back. My crush was so drunk she kept falling over. Other people were sleeping on couch, guest room and parents' bedroom. I carried her to her bed, put her in. She got out of bed undressed, fell over, I put her back in. She kept pulling me in bed and trying to kiss me. Rolled her over, tucked her in. I slept with the gay guy. He denied being gay back then. He browsed gay porn on their family computer and blamed me a few days later. He is married to a guy now, in the parents' bedroom. I woke up next morning, they were all talking nervously, trying to piece together what happened in the kitchen. She have remembered what happened, asked me to fill in some blanks. She asked if she kissed me. And who undressed her. And if I put her in bed. And thanked me for not taking advantage of the situation. Saw the relief in her eyes, then she realized nothing bad happened. Well, that's all for the video today. I hope you enjoyed it and as always have an amazing day.